Hey everyone, before we get into today's game, I just want to remind everyone that we're doing a Q&A giveaway over the next few weeks leading up to episode 100. The announcement is up on the podcast feed and over on our YouTube channel if you want the specifics, but in essence, any question you ask on our YouTube videos between now and episode 100 will be answered on a special Q&A episode, and you'll be eligible to win a Lancer Core rulebook. We hope to hear from you. Now, back to the game. Welcome to CCRPG, where we open up our virtual table and play games with some good friends. I'm Bob, and I'll be running Lancer. I'm joined today by Todd, who's going to be portraying Astro Jamin.
Hi, all.
Charles, portraying Evelene Bolick.
Hi, all.
Jeremy, portraying Dyne Starseeker.
Heyo.
And Jay, portraying Steve Starling.
Bob keeps us here against our will. He just makes us record Lancer. Say.
You can find it at Lancer on itch.io. Anyway, let's get into it. The DBC crew have done what they can to blend in while working under Ethic. With the excitement of the end of contest a few weeks behind them and a successful lure and sting operation in the bag, Ethic and our pilots can finally turn towards their primary objective. We saw the team find various pieces of information that could be tied to a more nefarious side of Project Rebirth. Horrible working conditions, heavily obscured operational knowledge, and even disappearances. Armed with new information, heat off their back, and Steve returned with the in he made with the rebel forces. We return to the crew. Howdy, crew.
Hello.
Hello.
So, picking right back up with where we left off, we watched all of you do some gather informational checking. We saw Steve make some ins with the rebel leaders, like I said in the recap, and learn a great deal of information. But I'm interested in finding out how you all communicate what's been going on the last few weeks with each other. So I'd like to zoom in kind of like in the first like team meeting after you've all gotten back together to try and determine kind of what your course moving forward is going to be.
I mean, I can answer that question. It's probably verbally. Written is an option.
Memos. Yeah, you all wake up to a memo on your desk about like, hey guys, I'm back.
I prefer to communicate through. Yeah, I prefer to communicate through passive-aggressive memos, personally.
Astro walks out of the room, sees sticky notes all the way down the hall.
I imagine once Astro gets wind of Steve returning to the ship, he's going to say, "Oh, let's gather everyone up. Let's do a debriefing." So probably not long after Steve returns, he's gonna call a meeting in the mess hall.
I like to think that in the mess hall we have one of those banners up that says "Welcome home, cheater," for Steve returning.
The thing is, we weren't even prepared for him to come home. Like he just waltzed in.
I mean, now we have to clean up the pizza party so he doesn't know that it happened.
Yeah,
and then we throw another one.
Yeah. We're gonna, prepare a surprise party, but
why does my pizza party pizza taste like it was reheated?
It's hard to get good pizza on this station.
Cutting corners everywhere.
I imagine that's true.
Actually, it probably is. Although you might find out about a place today that has good pizza for sale.
And I was going to say, good pizza is a relative term when you're in space, in a dystopian sort of future. But let's gather everyone up. And Astro will say, "Well, I just want to say welcome back, Steve," and he'll stand up and start clapping his hands.
I mean,
does anyone join in?
Curry uncomfortably looks around this room with not many people in it and will start doing the kind of clapping where he's like, he doesn't really understand if he's supposed to join in.
Tentative
I'll clap.
clap.
It'll be a delayed clap. I will clap.
Jessica claps.
I'll clap as well. Look at Astro and I go, "You're making it awkward, Astro."
Thanks.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you, Steve, for taking one for the team. I hope the experience wasn't too traumatic, and we're all. I think I could speak for the entire crew that we're all happy to have you back.
Is Steve still bruised up? Because I know he got into a couple fights when he was in.
No, it's been like a week or a 10
It's
day
been a
at
week
least
or
since
two.
then.
Oh, then you're fine. Okay.
I'll just say thanks. I'm glad to be back here too. Much better sleeping arrangements.
Well, you came at a opportune time, I have to say. Let me update you on what's been happening. So while you're out, we've been kind of, keeping on the down low, running routine jobs for Ethic, trying not to make any waves, but trying to prove that we're useful and reliable. And recently, I just got a call from Ethic saying that she thinks she's ready to start using us for our intended purpose. And there's some things she wants to investigate. She didn't say what yet. She'll get back to us, but she's poking around. I think she's going to have something for us soon. We recently did an escort mission that was pretty rough, I have to say. We were trying to escort about 3 or 4 ships to the station, and they were being assaulted by these bombers. Kind of ordinary-looking freighter ships, nothing special, but their ordnance was something else. It was like a technology way beyond what you would expect, simple rebels to have. So we just barely got out of there on the skin of our own teeth. But Dyne and I tried to investigate more, but came up empty.
Investigate the rebels more?
Well, yeah, investigate, see like where they might be getting these weapons. I'm curious as to what connections they have, and if that's something we can find out more about.
I don't blame you for that, but that was kind of my job. I figured you guys would want to be investigating what's going on the station and the terraforming project.
We did that too.
Well, I think that's what's coming up here with whatever Ethic has planned for us.
And maybe
that's where the real work begins.
Yeah, maybe we should clarify our priorities here. Like, we're not concerned with the rebels per se, right?
No, not concerned, but I'd like to know who what connections they have. It could come in handy in the future. If in the end we end up wanting to help the rebels, it would be good to know what kind of connections we can exploit. But anyway, that was just something we were doing. And I'm not saying it was high priority for us. We've mostly been busy running these routine missions, trying to build up our reputation here.
All right. Well, while I was boots on the ground in this prison, not much really happened there, just building relationships. I did eventually get out and get inroads with one of the rebel cells. They seem to have a few different cells and a few different leaders among them. The whole station's pissed off at what's going on here. There's too many people, not enough work. The the quality of life that they have is some of the worst I've seen. They're in a bad way, and I don't blame them for wanting to fight back from it. I mean,
so it seems like they're struggling.
Oh, it'd be an understatement to say something like that. They're just looking for a way to fight back and have a place to live.
I think that's understandable.
It's just crazy to me. All these people, and there's not enough work. They're about to terraform an entire planet. Where's the work coming from?
Well, funny you should mention that. I mean, from what we've been able to dig up, it sounds like it may not even be a terraforming project, or at least there's a lot of evidence to suggest it isn't. We're not sure what it is, but I mean, like, I was talking with some workers, and they're like, yeah, we just make individual parts, and we don't know where they go. We just do the job, and we don't hear much more than that.
I don't think I've heard this yet, Evelene. Tell me more. What kind of parts?
I just told you. I will go over some of the parts that I saw from visiting the various facilities. I mean,
tell me exactly what parts right now.
Okay.
Testing your improv skills.
Well, there's a space screw that's Phillips, and everyone knows you use a flathead for terraforming projects.
Yeah, I saw some widgets. I saw some doohickeys. I saw some flanges.
That's better.
Yeah. He goes into excruciating detail about all of the drills, or she. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I mean there were so many drills, and you only need one drill for terraforming. It's easy.
The terraforming drill. Everyone knows the terraforming drill.
Yes.
It's like, Chuck, what's that one type of drill you use in Astroneer that you use to, like, level out the terrain and everything? Yeah.
the flat surface drill. Yeah.
What we're all finding out is that the planet you're over is constructed of voxels.
Yeah.
I knew it.
And it's super glitchy.
That's why no one lives down there. They're up here in the space station.
I don't mean to jump to conclusions here, but there's not a chance that these corporals are making some sort of weapon, right? I mean, they just had a capital ship stolen from them. I mean, not them specifically, but the threats are higher than they've ever been for the corpos.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it was Corsac who lost the ship, and they've been very explicitly anti-Corsac here. So unless they're just trying to compete with Corsac by building their own ship.
Jessica says, we've heard a few times Efik say that she's had a hell of a time getting the other people on the board to agree to any Corsac involvement. I'm not saying it couldn't be, but I don't think it's a response to that necessarily, unless...
Let me paint a picture for you. You have a bunch of friends near you that you hate and would love to take over anytime that you could. One of those friends loses one of their really big guns to someone you also hate, and hates all of you and your friends. You would want to prepare for that person that stole that gun to also shoot you.
That could be it. Could it also be that they're taking advantage of Corsac's moment of weakness here to make a move against them?
Curry shrugs. That's what I would do.
If they're not terraforming, which I think we can rule that out at this point since it's what they say they're doing, then we need to figure out what. And I wouldn't be surprised if another really big gun showed up wherever they're building this thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. That would explain... that would explain a lot, the secrecy around this project, the lack of progress, the unusual amount of interest in something that wouldn't seem to yield a lot of profit, within the first phases of such a project.
Well, then why in this planet? Is there some resource? Or is it just the remoteness so they can use the terraforming project as a cover?
An excuse.
You will note this planet isn't very remote. It's actually quite close to the core. It is core word a lot. Remember, it was one of the original planets that was first exploited, let's say, when humans made their way off of Earth, which is why it's in the state it is now.
Okay.
But Jay, sorry, I cut you off.
Oh no, I don't even remember what I said.
Did you find out anything else, Evelene?
I mean, that's the short and long of it, really. I mean, she kind of digs out some papers from her pocket there, just chicken scratch, just from all her poking around, which is equivalent to me checking my notes. Yeah. Also, some of the workers are being augmented by LIT to improve efficiency, and those workers are disappearing. I'm not sure if that's I'm not sure how that's relevant to the mission or to the project, but it is concerning. I will say that much. I mean, it'd be weird for them to augment the workers and then sometime later steal those workers, but that is something that's happening.
I mean, unless they're using them as experiments for some sort of experimental tech, and when and if those augments fail, they remove them.
Yeah.
For further research.
Yeah.
That's just speculation, but it feels on brand.
Chuck, did Evelyn tell us that they're also outsourcing a lot of workers? I don't remember if you said that or not. I know that's a thing, but I can't.
I don't.
Okay, you
I don't
don't
remember.
have to say.
I don't remember that being a thing. That's why I'm like.
I implied that in the conversation, but I don't in character know that. So
yeah, I never found that out specifically, Todd.
I thought what we found out was they weren't using a lot of the local population for jobs, even though they're wanting for jobs.
Yeah.
I just found the note about that. Yeah. Some of the more important jobs are being brought in from the outside. So like the people who would know what's going on, it isn't workers from around here. So it's like all the different corpos, they're bringing in their own people for the management positions, so they're able to keep things up quiet. Sorry, you're right. I did find that out.
Do you have any information about where these people are working or what they're doing? Using some of the inroads with these rebels that I've had, maybe I could have the rebels themselves capture a few people and interrogate them.
Yeah,
that way we're not put on the hook for something like that, but we could get information about it.
Yeah, I'll give you some information. Like, I probably met with some of these people when I was figuring out the manufacturing stuff. So, like, I will give you some people that I met that might be worth looking into.
Sounds like you made some really good connections there, Steve.
Yeah.
You can convince them to do a kidnapping job for you.
Oh, they're looking for any kind of benefit that they can get. Can you imagine how desperate you would be if you lived on the station? It wasn't actually that difficult to work with one of the cell leaders.
So you didn't get a sense of like them receiving any assistance from a third party?
Well, let me put it. I know this is contradictory to what I just said, but while I am working with them and they are looking for any help they can get, I also am someone very new to them. I don't think they're going to tell me everything.
Fair enough, yeah.
I did,
especially because he's not a local.
Exactly. Yes, I did get the feeling that they are, undeniably. I mean, where else would they be getting this tech from? But, of course, they're not talking about that with me.
Part of me wonders if it's Nobly's affair.
Could be. But why would they be out here?
I don't
know. Say this feels a bit mysterious. Too close to the core worlds for them to be active. Not saying it couldn't be, but it just feels too close.
True, but we know they have access to some pretty wild technology.
Maybe they know something that we don't.
True, yeah.
Do we still have a way to contact Concern, or what's the other guy's name?
Casper?
Yeah.
Casper.
Yeah, Casper is the person that you guys worked with on that mining planet to like help evacuate all the people, right?
Yeah.
Casper Velium.
Yep.
Yeah. Him and Heathcote?
That's right. Heathcote.
Yeah, Heathcote.
Yeah.
Yeah. Him and Heathcote were the two people on that planet who are from the Noblesse affair that helped you evacuate those people. Very specifically, yes, you have Casper's contact info, and that is also who the rebels are working with. Remember when you guys stole the ship, you put the rebels, the Astro Uprising. You put the Astro Uprising in contact with Casper from the Noblesse affair so that they could help each other out.
Yeah.
So yes, you do have a way to contact Casper is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
This is free. You will know that might not go anywhere because remember, you all learned right before this mission that the Astro Uprising has gone silent in preparation for some big mission they're doing. So if the Noblesse affair is working together with them on that, you imagine that they've all gone dark to prepare for whatever big thing they're doing. Remember, you were like, oh, can we get in touch with Rock? And I'm like, no, you can't get in touch with Rock. Right. He's unavailable.
Yeah, so Astro just says, like, we have our contact, Casper, within the Noblesse affair, but probably won't get any reply. I know the Astro Uprising has gone dark. They're preparing something big. Probably not the best idea to try to reach out right now. Anyway, it's not important. I'm sure we'll find out in time who's helping the rebels, and it's not like we need to, it's not like that's information we need to, for our enemy or something. In the end, we're trying to help the rebels.
You do know that the rebels on E2705 go by Oath, or Batuska's Oath. That's the name you heard on that hijacked signal where that one person calling for an uprising got over all the station's comms. That's how he referred to them.
The Oath.
Is this the first time I'm hearing about their contact with Casper?
Yeah, you, Todd and Chuck and Jeremy. Have you guys figured out if you've told Steve about that stuff?
Because you just saying, "Oh, we've got a contact with the Noblesse affair." I don't know that you would have said that before, but maybe you did.
You definitely know they've been working with the Astro Uprising because they talk about Rock fairly frequently.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have brought up the Noblesse affair, though. I would like you to figure that out. That sounds like interesting information.
I would feel like it's probably come up at some point.
What were you going to say? I would say not necessarily. It wouldn't be something we'd try to hide, but maybe when Steve first joined the crew, we were a little more tight-lipped about our connections till we got to know him a little better.
It's not like that just comes up in conversation.
Right, exactly.
Right, because it was such a specific mission. Why would you guys have ever talked about that one thing specifically?
Right. So I think over time, it became, we wouldn't have told him right off the bat, right? And then over time, I think it just never would have really come up. But it's not like we're trying to keep it from him. So I would say this is probably the first time you're hearing of it, Steve.
I'm gonna come down on that side. So yes, Steve, this is the first time you've heard them ever mention the Noblesse affair.
All right,
but they just but you will tell from the way they're talking about it. He just brought it up with no preamble. He's like, oh, our friend with, so-and-so. He's talking about it very flippantly. So you don't think he was trying to hide that from you. And it seems like everyone else in the room except you and Jess know what he's talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I would even say, like, Astro would even forget that you don't know about it.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That makes sense.
Well, speaking of other problems, I'll need to figure out what to do with Sam, because we weren't able to get his friends a job. Not that they think it's probably safer they didn't, all things considered. But I'll have to figure out how to deal with that.
Do you need any help? Anything we could do?
Basically, Sam wants to get some of his people on the inside. Because,
so what, find them jobs or something, or
basically he wants them to get jobs here.
Who's this Sam guy? I know he's a contact of yours, but
he's the one who made our resume that got us into this place in the first place.
Yeah, I
An
think he
old
mentioned like
friend, if you will.
It was like he gave us these resumes on the condition that we'd help.
Yeah.
The other clients get in.
It was Dwarf Elbath.
I appreciate the connection, but I don't feel like that tells me who this guy is.
Let's just say that he's not someone you'd want to cross. I'd rather not have contacted him, but it seemed like a good idea at the time. Let's see if I can... Well, I'll come to you guys if I need help figuring out the problem, but for now I think I have an idea of how to deal with it.
Curry says, okay, hold on. So is this like shoot you in your sleep kind of guy, or leak who we really are to our employers kind of guy?
What's the difference?
He would come after me. He would send someone after me specifically. You guys don't have to worry about it.
We got nothing to worry about then. I'm kidding.
He wouldn't leak who we are. He would definitely take a more personal approach, if you know what I mean.
That sounds like you got into bed with a shark then.
You're mighty confident of that.
Well, a shark, he's a small fish compared to what I've seen. It is what it is at this point. I have an idea that may work. I will let you guys know if it pans out.
All right, just keep us posted.
Yeah, I'll let you know if I'm alive later.
Yeah, please call us if you're dead. That's important information for us to have.
Astro Jamin's new movie, Speaking with Ghosts.
The Seventh Sense.
They don't want to have another what was his name?
Bruce Willis?
No, I was gonna say you guys don't want another Edgelord McOverload. What the fuck was his name? The guy who died on your crew. That was
Ruination Conditioning.
That's it, Ruination Conditioning. You don't want another Ruination Conditioning situation with Dyne where he just disappears one day and you're like, huh.
Oh, interesting.
Wonder what happened there.
Yeah, but he's not dead.
Well, you don't know that the other one's dead either.
Well, he's dead to us, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. You know what? They could both still be alive. You all look at Dyne and realize Dyne could still be alive right now.
Unfortunately, Dyne somehow managed to meet the vampire from Astro's movie from that slot machine.
It was just Dracula.
Yes.
I think it was literally just Dracula. Yeah.
It was just Dracula.
Some things never die. Dracula is one of them.
It's a classic. Anyway, Astro will say, all right, one more thing. Just found some interesting intel about Ethic. Just why don't you tell the crew what you found?
Yes. So there was so much scuttlebutt about it during the entire time you all were going through contest. I wanted to see why everyone seems to have a skewed perspective on our employer. So I made a few outreaches to some people just to see what people thought about Effic, and word on the street is that she comes from a disgraced noble family. She's willing to sell people out to get what she needs, and it turns out that the source of these rumors are, well, the planet she came from was hostilely taken over by the various corporations, and her noble family was ousted, and to retain some level of power and influence, she sold out her firebrand of a brother who was causing problems for the corporates, and I believe you've already met him.
No.
Lyrian Desyria.
So they
Oh,
are
yes.
related?
She nods.
I thought
Guess I
Desyria
see
was
the
just a common name in the core worlds.
It didn't
I
even.
guess I see the resemblance. They kind of look like each other.
It didn't even occur to me.
Now, these are all people who have agendas against Effic, so I wouldn't take their opinion of her to heart, but it does give us a new perspective on who we might be working with.
Yet I also feel like we're not getting the whole story either. I mean, after all, Effic supposedly betrayed her brother, Nilarian, but both Effic and Nilarian have connections with Ren. And Ren seems to trust Effic implicitly. So I can't, make all the connections here. I feel like there's something more that we're missing. But I think it's best we remain on our guard. Can't trust anyone on the ship but ourselves.
Yeah. It is
Everyone-
interesting,
everyone-
I'll say. Ren is, I think, the type of person who would use whatever they have available to them, though.
Yeah, perhaps you're right.
We've worked with Ren for a while, and they always seem to have connections everywhere.
All right, but Ren isn't the point of this mission. What is Effic having us do next? Do we have any idea?
She's chasing down a few leads, I think. So we're just on standby until she gets back to us. But some sort of investigation. I think we're going to be diving into what's going on here pretty soon.
Hurry up and wait.
Hurry up and wait. That's right.
All right, Curry says, I'll keep everything ship-shape so we're good to go when called.
I was hoping to have a day or two of rest, but all right, Evelene, if you can get me those names or at least addresses, I'll talk to my contacts in the Rebels.
Yeah, give me a little bit of time. I'll get you something by the end of the day. And I do that.
EOD, end of day.
This is
All
when
right.
you dismiss the meeting, Astro.
So
And we all stand here awkwardly staring at Evelene as she's just looking around and goes, okay, here's the list.
The only thing I can think of right now is the Captain Janeway dismissed.
Perfect.
All right, I guess meeting adjourned.
All right, and
Alrighty.
you all spread out to the various things y'all get up to on the ship. I will kind of zoom out narratively for a moment to say it's going to be another day or two before you guys get actionable information. Is there anything you guys want to zoom in on that would happen over the next day and a half that you want to see? A conversation, looking into something, anything that's important that we see?
Yes, I would like to. I don't know if this is considered a downtime action or not, but I would like to try and solve my current problem with Sam.
This will not be a downtime action. We don't have time for downtime actions right now, and you all took them already. But narrative things can still take place. They won't just get you. They won't get you resources.
Right.
So you can. Scenes are open. Downtime actions are closed. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But yeah, what's your idea?
So when I helped Lord Elbath during that party, they gave me contact with the CDD. So I'm going to try and see if the CDD can help me solve the problem that the CDD was hired to do.
Okay. What is your plan there? Because I will tell you right now that kind of like cursory CDD access, which is what you have, is basically like client access. It basically gets you access to their message boards where you can post requests. Remember that CDD is dissociated. It's not like an organization like, the mobsters on what was it? I can't remember the name right now, that kind of like lawless planet, right? It's not like the people who ran that casino there. It's not like the space pirates. It's more dissociated. It's more like anonymous, right?
Right.
There's a bunch of people that share tips, work together on like very, dubious things. But you kind of just have to go to where they hang out and see if anyone there is willing to help you.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what I would do.
Okay. And what is the shape this takes? What does it look like for you to do this?
The shape that this would take would be specifically in the form of like, I guess, anti-corporation, to try and stoke that flame. The idea of seeing if someone is willing to test their skills to try and get into corporate services. I won't go specifically like the totality of my idea is to see if they can get into one of the 4 corporations' databases and basically create a job that I can have Sam put his man into, because Sam would be able to create the background and stuff. But I would basically frame it as a form of like anti-corporate warfare, technological warfare.
Okay. Let's see here. Interesting. All right. What are you willing to put up as like payment here?
I have this blueprint for a Corsac weapon. I'm willing to put that up as collateral. Remind
me what this is.
It's the blueprint that we found when we invaded the Corsac base for the was it the phase rifle or whatever?
Okay. Yeah, so you basically get in some, like with any posting, like there are a few people who like kind of like send you responses that are kind of like probing you for more info about like what's needed, what is like what's up on offer for doing this, like what specific skills are needed and things like that. You reply to them over the course of the next like day, just when they come in, seeing like who you can get to take this job. You do eventually get a hold of someone who is like very interested in that weapon blueprint. And they're willing to try and open up some, basically to get you in to the what's the word? Get you into the like databases of Apogee material. They say basically like, I don't know what you can do with that. If you're just trying to get people in, that's the easiest place that I can open up for you to get people in. Can I guarantee they'll be highly placed? No. Can I guarantee it won't be looked into? Yes. And it's up to you to determine whether or not that's worth it to you.
That is enough, because all I need to ensure is that they come here. The level of access they have is of no concern, at least from what Sam has said.
Okay.
As far that's what he said pretty much, right? From what I recall.
To your memory, he was like, I need you to get some people placed in positions where they can start doing things for me on the inside.
Yeah. I mean, as long as they can get here and they won't be looked into, I think that is sufficient.
Okay. Then, on top of this, Orion, I would like you to make a pilot check.
Okay. Let's see. I'm not. Let's see here. Pilot sheet. Investigate, patch, spot, stay cool. I don't think any of them really.
Yeah, so it would just be a straight
Why?
pilot check then if you don't have any triggers.
Yeah, like the closest would be investigate or stay cool, but they don't really apply here. So,
yeah, this is more of a social check or like an espionage style check here.
All right, 1d20. 6.
Okay. You give them the job. You think this person seems like they're up for it. I'll give them the job. Once they get the people in, you set up like a kind of like on delivery sort of thing for the info.
Yeah.
I'm going to say you've spent that chip, that blueprint you have for that phase rifle. Like, I get that it's a blueprint, but in terms of resources, you won't be able to use that negotiation wise again in the future. This person, to your knowledge, does the thing you ask of them.
Okay.
And then after they get you some information, you can just, in a message, send it along to Sam. That's basically just like, hey, here's an in to get these people in. It does require you specifically getting this stuff plugged in, because in order for this hacker from CDD to get in, they need you to use your access to get them in.
Okay.
So that's how this works. But you're able to get this to Sam, and Sam is like, all right, this is what I'm looking for. As long as this pans out, I think I'll be happy with the trade we made.
Here's hoping.
And then, yeah, there we go. Orion, you have potentially solved your issue. I don't know if you said aloud, you rolled a 6 on your pilot
I think
check.
I did, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I have potentially solved one issue in order to create another issue.
We'll find out. Play to find out what happens. All right. Anyone else have anything they want to tie a bow on or see a little bit extra of what happens with that over the next day?
I think I'd like to put out some feelers so that now that I know there's some stuff going on in Rhyolite, I kind of want to, like, I'm sure I know some people who are still there, and try to like say like, hey, it's me, Evelene. Just want to see what's going on. Haven't been following up as late because of work. Just want to see how things are at the mines, and maybe like maybe find out more about like this mentor program and other things that what's her face had mentioned, Wilco.
Yeah.
And I don't expect an answer. Maybe they'll like send out some messages, and then maybe I'll hear back in a few days or whatever.
All right. Excellent. Chimera, that is, you're going to just send that normal, because none of the people you know on Rhyolite would even have access to the thing they need to get instantaneous, cross-universe messaging. So, like, you just have to,
as much,
this is all normal mail, basically, normal messages.
Space mail, you mean?
Yeah, space mail. It's gonna have to ping off a few gates on its way there. So it might be days to weeks for you to get responses here.
That's fine.
Depends on how the gates time out.
I just want to get the ball rolling on that because I know
totally.
it'll take time.
Yeah, you send out those messages. I will say you send out like 3 or 4 messages to some people that you were close with back when you lurked on Wirelight that wouldn't be like confused as to why you're contacting them, right? You pick some people who are like, oh yeah, like it's cool that I've heard from Evelene, right? Like check. I assume you include a little bit of like, oh, I've just like I'll update on what you've been up to a little bit.
100%. Like obviously not like sensitive information.
Yeah,
but like,
a whitewashed version of it, but still. Yeah, that weird movie star that hired me has me doing all kinds of crazy shit. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, he's somehow still alive. He actually is competent.
All right. That is Chimera. Anything else from either Comet or Kestrel you want to see how it evolves over the next day?
I don't know that we need a scene for it, but I just want to do what I said I was going to do in the meeting, is get some information to Tabitha about potential people to get information from. That's what's going on.
Okay, just some things that like, oh yeah, the person I work with knows some people on the ground at these places. Yeah, that's information. Knowing who's amenable to like talking about what's going on is a resource, you know? Like knowing who will and won't talk and who will and won't inform is something that she can use.
That, but also like, and maybe I'm misunderstanding, but Chuck mentioned something about there being certain people that worked on the machinery that the normal populace didn't, that she knew about.
Chimera said that there were people being brought in from the corporate head HQ to work here. You can definitely get Tabitha that information. You will find out relatively quickly, though, that Tabitha knows that and is having trouble breaking in with those people. They're all very tight-lipped and have no sympathy for the people who live here.
Okay. I was figuring she would use more extreme methods.
Oh, she might.
Okay.
But that's a like gain a lot of heat kind of tactic.
That's fair. That is fair. Okay. All right. That's it then for me. I just rest for the rest of the time.
Yeah, totally. Movie star.
I don't think there's much else for Astro to do right now. He's just gonna wait.
See what comes up.
See what comes up. Yep.
All right. After a little while, over the next couple of days, you get back into your normal routines around the ship, regular maintenances, meals together, just getting up to what you normally do. KESTRAL, Steve, getting back in the pilot's seat, so to speak, helping out with, getting the DBC to and fro. Ethic right now kind of has you in like a holding pattern near a couple of the modules, just so that you're on hand in case anything comes up. Ryan, I imagine you're still tinkering with your mech and making sure that your supplies are up to date. We see how fastidious you are with your supplies regularly. CHIMERA, you're back with your regular repairs and services. And COMET, you do some logistics, I guess. I don't actually know what COMET does when he doesn't have something more pressing to do. Maybe that's the question I should have asked you, COMET.
He pretends to be busy. He's on the bridge. He's not really doing anything, but he's like typing away, on the terminal.
It's funny
really
because normally you do that so your boss thinks you're working. You're the boss who wants to make all his subordinates think he's working.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like typing away, but actually he's like playing a chess game, against the computer.
He's like, if RC ever comes back, I'm gonna beat his ass at chess.
Yeah, he's training.
I like to pretend you do movie star stuff too. Like even though you're not a movie star right now, you still practice your lines and whatnot.
I'm
I don't
actually
know what
going
movie
to
stars
say
do.
he's probably more than likely trying to get his mind off of like movie stuff, because the sting is still there when he heard about the Deathbot Chronicles sequel / reboot that they're probably going to do without him. So he's trying to get his mind off of that.
That's fair. Yeah.
But it's not unusual to find Astro, like in a rec room, with one of his, movies on in the background.
All right. Well, over the next day, while you all are up to your normal activities upon the DBC, one day, while I assume Astro and Steve and Jess are kind of like in the cockpit taking care of their daily business as normal, you get an urgent incoming message.
Okay, let's pick it up.
All right. Immediately, Ethic comes up on the screen and says, Astro, we have to move now.
Okay. Yep. We've been waiting to hear back from you.
I'm sending you some coordinates. Start moving and we'll talk while you're en route.
Are we in
Steve,
danger here?
You get some coordinates set to you.
I sit up straight.
Okay, understood. We're on our way.
There is a opportunity that has presented itself that is a little risky, but I don't think we can miss. It just works out too perfectly. This isn't what I was looking into. I'm sorry, I didn't come up with any leads. I tried looking into the people who did maintenance on your mechs to see if I could find out where that tracker came from. I'm still trying to find out about that. I'm trying to find out about where shipping manifests. Long story short, I found out that some shipping manifests were going to places that I don't recognize. So I'm trying to find out where they're going to because it doesn't make any sense. But here's what we found. There is an active rebel assault happening right now on Doc Grosser's LIT clinic.
Oh, interesting.
You are, of the people we hired, the closest, like geographically, the closest to this happening. If I get you there as fast as possible, you can get into that clinic, look around, and find out whatever you can under the guise of being a first responder.
Yeah, this is perfect. This is exactly the cover we would need.
I've already submitted that my team is nearby and will render assistance immediately. I just got the emergency signal not a minute ago. The faster you get there, the better. You're
I
under the
divert
guise.
a little bit more power to our thrusters.
Yeah. Here's the lowdown. You're going there under the guise of protecting the clinic from this rebel attack. I want you to find out what's happening at this clinic. If you can find anything about Lev Integrated Technologies, what Doc Grosser is doing, what their part of this tripartite alliance is up to here, if they have any information about what's going on with Project Rebirth, this is your access to get behind the curtain. Find out anything you can. I don't care if you do anything to help them against the rebels. Don't get caught snooping, though. We can't burn our identities this soon.
Understood.
Now, I'm going to be placing you in a tricky position. There is an active attack. I want you to go in while this attack is happening, find this information, and get out with your identities intact. But I don't have eyes on what's going on inside. Lev's security is a black box into and of itself that they do not release to me. I don't know what kind of defenses they have in there, and I don't know what kind of rebels are attacking them right now.
Do you know if the rebels have actually breached the station?
From the emergency broadcast, they have gotten inside.
Okay. Sounds tricky, but we can handle it. We're up to the task.
You're going to be heading to Commercial Module 40. The clinic itself is a fortress of a multi-level office complex. It dominates the attention of anyone traveling through the module. It is placed such that basically anywhere you go and every thoroughfare in the module has sightlines to it. The rest of the module has office buildings, shops, restaurants, coffee houses, tech repair businesses. If you were to go there normally, this is the kind of place that the people they've brought there from their HQ would go to watch a movie or get food. You probably won't see many locals nearby except for the clinic. This is the clinic where they do the alterations. So I imagine you'll find a lot of information about that there.
Gotcha.
Now is the time to ask me about anything that you might need info about that I'm not thinking about.
Do you think we should suit up, or should we go in on foot?
You won't be able to get into the clinic in your mechs. If you want to make a true show of force, you could arrive in your mechs and station them outside. I don't know what sign of security you have for your mechs, if you're worried about them being stolen or tampered with. We don't know if the rebels have sappers or anyone with them. From what I understand, they did blow their way into the building, so they are using explosives. I don't know if you leave your mechs unattended, if they will become targets. But I could see advantages to going either way. But either way, to go into the facility, you will not be able to do. It is a human-sized facility.
Are there any offensive ships from the rebels stationed outside?
This is an entirely interior module. I believe they rolled up on a few transports and then got out and stormed the building, from what I understand. This is inside a commercial district of the station. You would not be able to get in there with your ships. Your mechs could make it in, but it would cause a big commotion for people to see mechanized weapons of war walking down a commercial street.
Okay, but it's not like
the rebels
they have
did not bring
ships,
mechs.
Ships outside.
Outside of the module?
Yeah,
I don't believe so.
Okay, we'll have to assess the situation when we're there. But
it was not in the emergency broadcast. If there are ships outside the module, this is a bigger attack than I would have thought.
Okay. Understood. And do you have a way you could send a layout of the schematics of this module?
She shakes her head sadly. Like I said, Lev Internal Security is a black box. They've released nothing to me. They have accepted my offer for help, and your IDs should do well at getting you past things, but I don't know the layout. I don't know what kind of automated security they might have there. You should be on their IFF signals. You are an allied unit as far as they are concerned, but no, I'm afraid not.
Okay, well, we'll be able to figure it out when we're on the ground.
Just make sure you roll in with your Murder of Crows identifications on you. That is how people will know you are not enemies, even though I guess we are.
Understood. Steve, you have any additional questions, thoughts, concerns?
Not that I think Evic can answer. I'm wondering if these rebels have more advanced technology than we think. They've already taken over bits of the station and created that claustrosity. What could they do if they got into the Lev Integrations building and caused something to happen there?
That is concerning. If something of that scale happened, I wouldn't be surprised if it compromised the entire module.
Maybe sending some evacuation ships to the module might be prudent if you can.
That's an excellent idea. I will reroute some of my shipping ships there now. I can just have them dump cargo at the nearest ports and have them show up as emergency response vessels. Great idea. I'll begin immediately.
Hopefully we're wrong, but if not, you just became a big damn hero.
I like the way you think.
All right, well, I think we have all the info we need for now. The rest we're going to have to assess when we're on the ground.
If you need me, I'll be monitoring the situation closely. You'll be able to reach me on this channel at all times.
Understood. And this channel, you're pretty sure is secure?
It is completely secure. I would not have discussed what I have discussed without ensuring so.
I figured as much, but doesn't hurt to ask anyway.
While I do not have a layout for you, I am sure that you will be able to keep track of where you are. And Jess will nod, and as long as one of you goes in with an Omni hook or something like that, I can keep track of where you are in the building and build a map behind you as you move through. At least we can make sure you aren't retracing steps unnecessarily and you won't get lost.
Astro nods and says, I always carry an Omni hook on away missions.
Jess nods and goes, well, I'll watch you the whole time. Just stay in contact.
All right, excellent. All right, I'll let the others know we have our marching orders. And it's time to get ready, suit up.
All right, and let me know if there's anything I need to know as soon as you can. Sometimes the difference in seconds can make a big difference in what kind of information I'm able to get.
You got it.
Good luck.
Thank you, you too.
All right. And then she closes the channel, but it's like one of those things where it's like she's not actively talking, but you could like reopen it at any moment. Like if you need to talk to her, she's around. She's probably just like on other screens monitoring the situation and moving her resources.
All right. Yeah, I'll activate the intercom and I'll say, we've got our marching orders. Something came up suddenly. We're to investigate LIT's facilities, which are currently under attack by the rebels. We'll arrive under the guise of defending against the rebels, but we'll use this opportunity to see what we can uncover. So we'll be on foot. So suit up, get ready to go. We're on our way.
All right, boss.
All right. Is this a how are we infiltrating? Is this like a mech facility, or is this like we got to walk in person?
It's on foot.
Okay. Evelene grabs her grapple gun.
And her real gun.
Yes.
Bob,
Why not both?
for reference to you, if I can change my gear loadout going into this, I want to get camo cloth stims and a data plating.
You should be able to update that in Foundry as well.
Okay.
If you just grab the gear and like you can, so you're taking off frags and handheld printer, right? Basically.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, you can just here. I'll remove them right now. So I'm going to remove those two things. If you just grab the other two pieces of equipment and drag them onto your sheet, it should just add them for you under equip gear.
Okay, I'll find that.
Yeah.
Yeah, should be under pilot gear in the compendiums.
Pilot gear. There we go. Yep, I got it. I'll take care of that. Just letting you know. Making sure.
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely. And I also, just for info for the rest of the players, I am going to be paying more attention to your character sheets in Foundry now than on CompCon. So if you are making updates to your sheets, make sure your Foundry sheet is up to date for session play, so that I can see what you guys have on you for your mechs and whatnot for your loadouts.
Gotcha.
And pilot gear. Speaking of which, Chimera, you're down a piece of gear. You have a wilderness survival kit and mag clamps and an empty slot.
That's the grapple gun.
Okay, yeah. So you can throw the grapple gun there.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I'm trying to remember why I didn't do it. I don't think I can add custom items.
Oh, is it because it's a custom item? Yeah, you'll just have to remind me when it comes up that that's what that slot is for.
Also, you could probably get rid of your wilderness survival for this mission, or not. Up to you.
You're probably right.
I mean, it does have a rebreather, water filters. There are things that could be useful in almost any situation.
The hard suit patches was, I think, one of the reasons why I grabbed it.
All right.
I'll hold on to it.
Okay.
Who knows?
Speaking of which, I kind of assumed this, but are you guys going in your hard suits?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So 2 of you have assault hard suits. So you're going to look like beefed up military, basically going in with those. KESTRAL, you have a heavy hard suit. You're going to look like a riot cop, basically, right? Like you're going to be in heavy gear when you go in. Astro, You have a stealth hard suit. It's still a hard suit. You're still going to look like tactical as shit going in that. It just doesn't have the various like paddings and armors that Chimera and Orion have.
Yep.
Yeah. I think I need to keep my hard suit because that makes sense for my mech, but I think camel cloth is maybe less useful then.
Yeah, it's like, remember, if you guys are in your hard suits, you're like lugging around, like if someone saw you on a bombed out army field, you would look like you fit in. If you were going shopping, you would not fit in.
Yeah.
He would be like, are you robbing our store if you walked in somewhere with a hard suit on?
I'll probably replace that then for something else, but yeah, that's fine.
Yes, I'm robbing your store, but I plan to pay you for it.
All right. So you are able to make good time getting to commercial module 40. You are able to quickly get to like a dock section of the module. There is actively like Ethics sends you basically like a layout of the module itself, since you guys have not been here before, of like how to get directly to the clinic from the docking area that uses literal like emergency response passageways. You remember how on AO Station you guys were able to like get through the walls in that mission to like move around the station more easily? Ethic basically gets you that access to commercial module 40 because you are basically acting as like a first response police unit almost. Like that's what at least what she has told Lev Integrated Technologies you are doing. So you are able to make good time to get to the clinic, but that also means you don't see much of commercial module 40. You kind of like move through the walls to come out on the street where the clinic is.
Aw, I wanted to see all the nice shops and cafes and the movie
But the thing
theater.
is, yeah, you do see some of that because even this road is like, this is not what any other module you've been around looks like. As you come out of the sidewalls, you see office buildings, shops, restaurants, coffee houses, tech repair businesses, front ends for distributors. There's a theater nearby that has like an ever-changing screen out front advertising shows available. You even see as one of the entries on the board shows like a live screening of Tessellate, as you all briefly remember. You're like, oh, isn't that one of the bands that Torsay really liked?
Oh, yeah.
You know, this is a district that in normal times caters to the new blood brought in by the Megacorps as part of like the Rebirth Initiative. Probably very few, if any, of the E2705 natives any of you have talked to have maybe ever been here, with the exception being, of course, if they were going to the clinic.
Gotcha.
As you arrive out front of the clinic, there is like a bit of chaos out front. You see a few flipped vehicles that are on fire, like station transport vehicles. You see some station security vehicles flipped over, burning, with some dead station security nearby. You see people in station security outfits who are dead with wounds on the ground. There are what appear to be some nondescript vehicles, like they look like moving vans and things like that, like parked all askew outside of the building, that all have like their back loaders opened up and are completely empty inside. And you see that the main front entrance of the building is a crater where you imagine like a nice like reception area for the Lev clinic used to be, is now a front of a building that has been bombed and is just like a gaping wound open to the inside of the building.
Okay.
What's your way in? Do you try to follow that way in? There are other ways into the building. It is a large building. It is a multi-level office complex. You look up and can quickly estimate it. It's maybe like somewhere between 10 and 15 floors tall. It is larger than almost every other building nearby. It is a fortress of a complex.
Are there like any access points like up above? Like, is there like almost like a fire escape?
There is a fire escape on the side of the building.
Oh,
Okay.
perfect.
I'm not sure I want to head straight in. Although I guess we would come up, we'd flank the rebels from behind, but I'd like to get in more secretly if possible, more stealthily. See
I'm on
if we
Team
can.
Fire Escape.
Yeah, see if we can get in without making our presence known, but also we probably want to somehow establish contact with the Lev people in here, so they know we're here, in case we need access to certain things.
I'll remind you. I don't know that they're going to give us access to things. And in fact, not contacting them might give us reasonable doubt to access systems that they don't want us to.
Not contacting them might give us reasonable. Say that again. Sorry.
If they don't know that we're there, they don't know what to keep us out of.
Oh, I see.
If they know we're there, they're like, yes, rebels are here. Don't go to these places. They're not there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean. And
Think
if
of this
we
way:
do,
better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah, basically.
all right. Yeah, that sounds good to me. And if we do run into their security, we have a reason for being there. And we have our cover story, so to speak. But if we can avoid direct combat with the rebels, that would be ideal. If we do, maybe try to take them out non-lethally, but do whatever you feel like you have to in a combat situation.
I just want to point out, I really think that you guys should take it from a lethal standpoint if you need to. I mean, we can sympathize with these rebels all we want, but we have a mission to accomplish here that is above and beyond keeping these rebels alive, and they know what they're signing up for. I find it a little hard to believe that this is related to the cell that I'm working with. I don't think Tabitha would be as overt as this, and in fact, I think that she's been planning something a bit more subterfuge-y, so...
Plus, there's no guarantee that all of the rebel factions are working together or in the loop with each other.
They're not.
So
I can guarantee that they're not. There's a lot of independent cells, so these people may not even be aware that there's friends outside. So,
all right. Well, then, if you feel that they are a threat, take them out. In fact, while it's may not be the greatest thing having to kill. One, our own lives take priority, and two, it can also be further proof that we were doing our job.
All right.
Can I get one of the four of you to make me a spot check?
Sure, I can do that.
Is spot itself a skill trigger?
It's a trigger. Yep, spot
Okay.
is its own trigger.
Yeah, if anyone has that.
Ooh, that's
21.
nice.
Dyne, you notice something interesting about the fire escape as you examine it as a way in. The fire escape only covers the bottom 3 floors of the clinic. And as you look up, you're like, are the people above just supposed to burn to death? And you realize, yeah, perhaps maybe, because none of the floors above the 3rd floor have windows.
Well, I mentioned this to the group, and I'm like, who would build a building like this?
I'm guessing the important secret stuff is on those floors.
alright, so get as high as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, get as high as possible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Blaze it.
Hell yeah.
It's 420 somewhere.
That's not how time works.
That's not how it works.
Actually, yes, it is. Because remember, we're space themed. So somewhere in the world, there is a planet in the position of the sun at 420. But no, that's not how it works. You're right. Never mind. Who cares? Time zones.
I think you might be high right now.
I was gonna say, where's the fire, Evelene?
What did you spike that tuna with?
It's only a little expired.
By the way, Steve, you have data plating on you, right?
I do, so that when Just makes the map of the facility, I should have that as an option. Data plating, for anyone who doesn't know, is basically like a augmented reality heads-up display visor sort of thing.
Yeah, and I also have it.
You have a DBZ scouter on.
Yeah, basically.
I also have it, and it says that users can communicate with each other, all but silently.
Another reason I got it, so that we could talk without needing to talk near other people.
Yeah, the two of you, between Steve and Astro, then, you can easily communicate silently to each other while you're in here, and both of you would have access to the map just as making at all times. Also, because COMET has an Omni hook, I will say that you can communicate with Jessica silently through your data plating as well.
Perfect. I'll let you know that's an option. So if you need me to send a message to Jess, you can send it through me.
And suddenly I'm going to learn what it's like for Cody during our D&D sessions with when everyone is speaking over the mental link, and he's like, "What are you guys doing?"
Well, he joined the mental link eventually.
He did join the mental link.
Yeah.
But for a good 30 sessions, he just watched you all stare at each other meaningfully and was like, "What are you saying?"
All right, cool. Let's head up the fire escape to the highest floor we can get to. I think that's
that would be the third floor.
Yeah.
And this is not England.
The third story. Because in England, the third floor would actually be the fourth floor. Is that right? Like the ground floor
is correct,
0.
but it's not right.
Yeah. It shouldn't be that way, but yes. All right. Let's head up the fire escape. And
all right, you guys are able to pretty easily grab down the fire escape, start heading up. You will note that it doesn't look like more station security has arrived yet, but as you get a higher view over the chaos on a street, it does look like a pretty protracted gunfight did take place here. And you were surprised maybe a little bit at the efficiency at which the rebels killed all of station security. Every responder from station security who got here is dead on the street. And you don't see any dead rebels, but you don't know if that's because there aren't any or that their allies picked up the injured and wounded as they were going. So it's possible they just brought them inside for all you know. But as of what's on the street, they just left all security out there to rot, basically.
Now that we've made it up to the third floor, can I do a quick look around just to make sure there's no recent trail or combat on our floor? Because I know we just looked down below.
Yeah, go for it.
8. Right. Wow. Okay.
You get to basically the entrance you're going to use from the fire escape on the side of the building, and you try to look around. You try to look for if the door's been used, or if anything's been triggered, if there's any signs of forced entry and stuff, and you just don't get a read. I will say you do spend some time here, maybe being a little overly cautious, and you do know that okay, I want to take some time. I want to make sure that there's not a person with a gun on the other side of this door. But you don't really come up with anything that helps you.
Cool.
But you are able to get to the third floor where there is an entry door.
Okay. Let's go inside, see what we're dealing with.
As you enter a very corporate, sterile kind of place. It is and in fact, the room you're directly open into appears to be some sort of like office room, some like open space with a bunch of desks. There's like cabinets to one side of the room that have like schedules on the walls and things like that about like who like work assignments, like work area assignments posted and things like that. There seem to be a bunch of personal desks here that have like patient discharge sheets and like the inbox and outbox on them and things like that. This appears to be some sort of records room that you go into immediately.
Is
I'm
it
gonna
safe
assume
to
we-
assume?
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
I think we have lag maybe. I was just going to say, I'm guessing there's no one currently working here right now.
This
Yeah?
room is empty aside from yourselves.
Okay.
Okay. I was just gonna ask, is this like some sort of like brutalistic setup? Like it's very
It is like slightly more futuristic than brutalistic is what I will
Okay.
say. There's pops of humanity here and there, right? Like you see people like, oh, someone, left their various like models that they like to build on their desk, right? This more looks like the inside of a doctor's office that's been in operation for a decade, right? Where everyone has their stuff set up the way they like it. You know what I mean? Like this is more lived in than brutalistic.
Gotcha.
But it is corporate clean. Like it is like all the filing cabinets are like perfect metal squares and stuff like that, right? Everyone's desk has like high-tech computers on it that are all the same model that they probably bought in bulk for like 87,000 computers or something like that. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah.
And now that we're inside, do we hear anything? Like, do we hear sounds of gunfire?
All right, Comet, make a check for me to see if you can, probably get a sense of what's going on around.
I think for me, that's just going to be a D20.
Yeah.
1 D20 coming right up. 11.
Right. Comet, you move through the room, you get to the far side, you're able to like peek through. This is one of those, doors that has like the windows to either side. You know what I mean? So it's not like a completely closed off room. You look outside, you look around, you don't see any signs that combat has come to this part of the facility.
Okay. All right, let's look for a staircase.
Cool. Or at least like a map, that says like, they have to have like, this is how you escape from a fire. So there must be a map of like.
Well, we know how to
Floor, I would
escape
hope.
from a fire on this floor.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, if you were in any part of the building, there's like some usually compliance that says like this is how you would escape. We know how to escape, but there might be other things like stairs here.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing any map we do find is probably gonna not have a lot of details about the secret floors above us.
A map just says secret stairwell over here.
Secret lab.
Do not enter. Secret. Top
Don't
secret.
go into
No
the no-no
girls allowed.
You see like a little poster on the wall with with like a smiley face shaped face with like a little shush hand in front of it. It's like, remember, don't tell anyone what you see in here.
Snitches get stitches.
All right, let's all spread out, look around, see what we can find. See if you can find a staircase or elevator or something that we can use to get to the top floors.
Okay.
All right, you all spread out, you break out from this office room and kind of start moving around this third floor. You do note that it does seem like there's like a couple large stairwells located in the facility that are kind of like channels that like go up and down through the whole facility, right? So you're not like in the stairwell, but the stairwell is accessible. And it's a weird thing where every floor has an exit that comes from the stairwell, and an entry that goes up the next stairwell. So if you were in the stairwell, you couldn't just go from floor 2 to floor 3 to floor 4. You couldn't just do a straight climb. You would come up from floor 2 to floor 3, get off on floor 3, and then get in a new stairwell that goes from floor 3 to floor 4. It seems very segregated between floors.
Yeah, it's not a continuous stairwell.
But it does all occupy the same space. Realistically, like if you had like, I don't know, explosives or industrial mining equipment, you could just drill up and go all the way up the stairwell, but that's not how the building is built.
Did someone say mining? I don't have equipment.
Chimera, you should have brought the drill.
I should have.
I want to keep my eye out for a larger desk, something more out of the way, a small little office on the side, something like that, because I want to find like a key or a key fob or something like that, and I don't think anyone's desk just normally that works here would be able to get up much higher, right? I think that they would have access to this floor and floor belows, but like a manager or something might have.
Yeah, I'd say that's so you're asking for like a manager's office or something.
Yeah. So
yeah, totally.
I just want to keep my eye out for like that. Investigate.
Yeah, you guys spread through. Investigate is always a check that takes a little bit of time, but that could be totally worth it. So you're gonna like sweep room to room to do this. Go ahead and roll me an investigate.
Okay. 13.
Okay. With a 13, you do find basically exactly what you've outlined. This is like the highest room that you guys would have been able to get to from the outside. Like I said, you went basically as high as you could get. And you do find there is a door that goes into a room separated from the rest of this floor even. It does look like a manager's room, right? It has its own kind of like security swipe to get in. So it's not like every other door you've opened on this floor, you could just open the door. There's not a lock on these doors, right? This door requires a security swipe to unlock it. You are able to get to the door, kind of like look in and around it. You do read a plaque on the side of the door that says, this is the person who is the head of local outreach. With the successful investigate, I will say that you were able to get here, and luckily, because you were already called ahead by Ethic, you've been put on the friendlies list for the facility. You don't know if this will get you past all the secure doors, but it does open this door for you, Steve. You're able to approach the door just with your Murder of Crows identification, and the door opens for you. You find exactly what you expect. It is like big desk. This has like a nice window that looks out onto the streets below. It has a nice view of like the theater on the corner that you guys saw on the way in. It has like some nice big house plants in here. A bookcase. And with your successful investigate, you are able to find in the desk. You rummage through a few of the drawers there, and you are able to find kind of like a slide you're able to open between two of the drawers. You open the drawer that's in the middle, and then you reach your hand up and feel up from putting your hand in the drawer, and there's like a little slide you can pull that seems to be a secret compartment in the desk.
If I find booze in here, I'm going to be pissed.
Well, you might be minorly pissed. You find 3 things in here. You find one of those little, what are they called? Like novelty-sized whiskeys.
Yeah.
Like
one that's like
airplane
enough
ones.
for a shot or two. You find a novelty-sized whiskey. You find a pistol. Just a straight-up pistol, fully loaded. That is in that compartment, and you find a key that has the same name that you saw on the door, but a different title. Instead of community outreach, it says human resources.
Okay. I will take the key. What time of the day is it?
I would say, remember, these are space stations. So it's kind of like dictated by internal cycles.
Let me rephrase my question. The activity cycle of this station, would it be like a normal work day? Would it be the end of the day, beginning of the day,
This is just after end of day.
Okay, so it is reasonable to assume that many people just wouldn't be working then right now.
Remember, this is still a medical facility, so it's probably always open in some aspect, but it seems like the people who worked in the offices up here are gone for the day.
Okay, that would explain why none of this is accessed. Okay, cool. I'll take the key then and head out to the others.
Find anything good?
I'll just hold up the little key card and go, this should get us someplace.
All right, it's better than nothing.
You guys find the stairwell yet?
Yeah, there's a big bank of them over here.
Let's get climbing.
I say we head up. That's probably, if I were a betting man, I'd bet that's where the rebels are also headed.
Seems plausible.
All right. You guys approach the up stairwell. You are able to gain access with the card that Steve was able to find for you, which is lucky to have because your access wouldn't have gotten you in. You are able to use this to get further up. You start ascending. As you are in the stairwell to get up to the next floor, the whole building rocks. There is the sound of an explosion in an echoey, muffled kind of way that is hard to get a sense of just how far away it was from you. As you approach the fourth floor, though, you will start to see evidence of gunfire. There are scuffs in the wall. The door into the fourth floor is broken open. And it is like hanging on a hinge, just barely. The facility takes a turn for something different as you head past the third floor into the fourth. It becomes more brutalistic. And that's why I wanted to draw that line earlier. It becomes like a secret, almost like asphalt, like gray, nothing base. As you climb up the stairs here. As you exit out onto this next floor, you start to see the first evidence of something happening here. You see two dead bodies on the ground. They do not appear to be wearing station security uniforms. They do not appear to be wearing any uniforms. They are kind of wearing just like random mismatched gear, like assault gear of some sort. There are guns nearby, but what is concerning is the state you find the bodies in. I'm not going to buttercoat it too much. These are practically disassembled people. There is something a little horror show to entering this hallway. You went from like, oh, just an empty office building, to something you wouldn't be unexpected to see in a movie. There are large gashes along the wall that look to be solid concrete that have like inch deep gashes in them. And the state of these bodies looks like they were torn apart, not shot.
I'm going to come up on this. I'm going to look at Astro and go, so which of your horror movies most represents this one, or this scene?
The attack of the werewolf.
Attack of the Werewolf?
Yeah. Add that to the movie canon.
I'm maintaining a list.
For my taste.
Astro played the werewolf.
I understand different people cope differently, but you guys are joking right now?
I don't know what to say.
Better than the
Steve just
awkward
looks a little
silence.
sick looking at everything.
So a better question: what caused this? I mean, some augmentation or something? Like, I mean, I don't think you normally get a worker with a claw augmentation that cuts through concrete, unless they're like excavating. Maybe, I don't know. I don't understand like augments.
Can I check the concrete where some of the gashes are? Is it really smooth like an energy weapon did it of some kind, or is it like jagged like it was physically like ripped up around?
I'm just gonna give you this because I don't think like that's just a good thing. I don't think you need a check to know one or the other.
Sure.
It is obvious to you. This was not energy weapons. This is something with an incredible amount of power tore into this wall.
Okay.
Which seems to line up with the state the bodies are in.
Okay.
These people were disassembled. They do not have the cleanliness of being cut with energy blades, for example.
So something that's really strong, I'm guessing.
They might have brought a small mech or something in here, or some sort of robot.
Yeah, could be.
I guess, yeah.
That just means we have to be very careful moving forward.
I swear to God, if we fight another chainsaw guy, I'm gonna be pissed.
Oh yeah, I forget what that fucker's name is. I'm gonna go back and find the chainsaw guy.
Oh yeah,
and drop him back in here.
For all intents and purposes, he's Chainsaw Man in my mind.
I mean, you know, he's probably here. He's just replaced his chainsaw with a giant claw. He's upgraded.
Didn't we kill him?
Man, now we did kill him.
No, we let him go.
No, the chainsaw guy, you guys fought to a standstill, and then you guys
let him go.
Made a deal, basically, for him to leave.
Ah, damn it. That means he can't come back.
Yeah.
Yep, I told you, he upgraded his chainsaw into a claw.
Yeah, he worked with the affiliation, right? He's affiliation guy. Well, as you get up to this now more brutalistic floor, there are no longer signs that point the way. There are no longer placards on doors that tell you what they are anymore. It is like wandering into like a military industrial complex. This is very obviously behind the veil of this building. You didn't get to see the first few floors, but from the floor you entered, which was the third floor, which was mostly office space, these don't even feel like the same building.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in the real part of the building now.
Well, I guess we're looking for the next way up.
I think we could just keep going up. It's just that you have to exit a door and then go through another door. These bodies we found, were they like right out, like on the landing of the stairwell, or were they outside?
They're like in the hallways of this floor.
Okay.
They're like out after you get out of the stairwell.
I'll step out into the hallway. Are there any signs of like doors hanging off their hinges or forced entry or bullet holes in this hallway?
Immediately, this floor is more of a mess. You know that there's more to this floor. You could like snake through the rest of this floor, but over here by the stairwell where there's like a long hallway that goes to hallways that kind of like T section off of it, the right across from you, there are a couple of like swinging double doors that have been basically knocked open in such a way that they're broken open, and as you step out and kind of like move around such that you can view what's in there, it's an operating theater. You're looking in like a operating theater. There's a giant like chair in the center with almost like at a dentist's office where a bunch of things hang down from the ceiling, but it's a bunch of like needles and saws and things like that all hanging down from the ceiling, kind of like hovering around this central chair in the center. And then off to the side you see various tables and stuff that could hold things.
Okay. Are there any computer terminals here?
There are a few terminals that seem to be directly connected to the equipment in this room. If you want, you can take a look at them.
I'm looking more for like a terminal that is not specific to any like equipment, like something you'd just like a PC or something attached to the wall. Something that might be networked into the building's intranet at large.
Not at this room.
Okay. I'd say I'm gonna look around here, see if there's a terminal I can jack into.
All right, I'll just warn you to be careful. This is a high-tech area, and they're going to have good security. It's going to be a lot harder to hide that we were snooping around if they have a trace of us.
Not to mention cameras.
Well,
all right,
so far...
So are you guys going to explore the rest of this floor?
Yeah, I am going to, at least.
Yep.
All right. As you all work your way around this floor, aside from the operating theater that COMET found, you are able to find a few side rooms that appear to be equipment storage, holding rooms. You see a room that has like a long series of very uncomfortable looking like hospital beds in it that almost seem like they are meant to feed. You see like the signs that there are large flap open doors that provide like an easy passage going from that room to the operating theater. These seem like all ancillary and supply rooms for the operating theater.
This operating theater seems pretty important. Maybe we should try to figure out what this operating theater is used for. I mean, presumably to attach augments, but
yeah, I mean,
we
in
could
the grand
probably...
in the grand scheme of things, like I'm not sure this is really a surprise. Like we knew this was where they applied augments. I mean, I'm not sure what there's the gain from exploring this too much, other than like finding a terminal.
I'm kind of with Evelene on this one. This is what we expect from this building at the moment.
To be honest, I don't know what we really expect. That's part of what we're here to find out. It could be we could learn things from that are hiding in plain sight.
Keep in mind we're also on a timeline, because the longer we're here, the more likely reinforcements are going to show up, and if reinforcements show up, then it's going to be a little harder to do what we're doing right now. So I'm not sure it's worth spending too much time here.
Should we split up?
I'm down for that.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
What do you think, Astro?
I'll take a look around here. You guys head to the next floor.
Okay.
We've been around this floor enough to reasonably assume there's no one here, I think, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Any violence that took place here has moved somewhere else.
Okay. Then I'll assume Astro or Comet is okay, and then say, all right, let's get going, boys. Girls.
Sure.
Boys and girls.
Let's do it.
You move up to the next floor as Astro sticks around to see what he can find. As you move up to the next floor, it lets out into... I don't know if it's something you would have expected to find here. It opens up into more of an open area space that probably takes up 3 floors of the building. You can kind of see up through the next 3 floors from the next floor you get to. And you realize why it is a vehicle storage facility built into the facility itself. You see large transports that have various symbols on the side of them that indicate they are owned by Lev Integrated Technologies. Things that kind of vaguely look like almost like hospital ships or like ambulance style ships. You see shipping ships, and you see a ship that looks odd. That doesn't look like the other ships, and you've probably never seen one like it before. There are various tanks of something like almost like piped in to various points all around the outside of the ship that looks a little bit different. And like I said, you can kind of almost see up the next 3 floors where you hear from a higher floor gunfire. Gunfire that is close enough that you know it is open to the same air you are open to. You hear the loud reports of bullets. You hear people screaming. And then you see a body fall from a great height, slam into the top of one of these vehicles, slam off the top of it, like with a force almost denting the roof of an ambulance vehicle and kind of rolling off and falling to the ground broken. Again, slashed apart in gruesome ways. As you look up, you can just barely see what balconies or inlets into this area that might have come from, and can see flashes of barrel fire above you. And with that, we're going to end this session. We will see what you all make of this next session.
Be prepared for attack of the mecha werewolf.
Oh no.
Well, I'm very excited to see what you make of all this. Next session, we will see what's happening inside beyond the curtain of Lev Integrated Technologies' closed doors, and see what maybe at least one of the megacorps is doing here.
All right.
I look forward to it.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Pay no attention to the... What's that behind the curtain?
Who knows?
To the claustrosity behind the curtain.
That'd be great. The thing is just a mini claustrosity.
Just a mini claustrosity. Well, we will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.